You've probably all heard this saying before, is being good looking useful? You can't eat with just good looks, but that's not entirely true. In an era where every car on the street has LED strips, split headlights, and capsule-shaped bodies, if a car suddenly appears that's truly handsome and has a strong sense of design, well, sorry to say, but this time, being good looking really can put food on the table. This is the all-new XPeng P7. In today's world, it's all about copying whatever's popular. Hardly anyone truly believes that original design can succeed. You don't believe it, he doesn't believe it, a lot of people don't believe it. But XPeng has always believed in itself, insisting that originality can work. If you look back at XPeng's previous models, you can hardly see traces of other cars, and this all-new XPeng P7 takes that even further. The sense of technology is even more solidified in this model. I think the XPeng P7 was already one of XPeng's best-looking cars before, and the P7 family has carried on that sense of style. Now, with the all-new XPeng P7, this original and stylish design has been elevated to a whole new level. First of all, looking at the overall appearance, I think this design is highly original, and it actually looks a bit like it really gives off a sci-fi starship kind of vibe. The purple color might feel a bit gentle, but if you switch to the silver version, just take a look at that image, I think the silver one truly looks like a tech product. It even feels a bit like a concept car to me, not like a mass-produced vehicle at all. I honestly didn't expect that they would take this design language straight into mass production. Looking at the details, the proportions of this car are really well done. It looks very wide, and the whole front end is quite low and flat, while the car itself is long and sleek. The length is 5,017 millimeters, over 5 meters, and the wheelbase is 3,008 millimeters, so that's over 3 meters for the wheelbase. So overall, this is actually a very long and large car. But in fact, this car doesn't look bulky at all because its sporty stance is really well executed. Another thing is the overall height of the car. It comes with air suspension, and if you set it to the lowest position, it's actually 43 millimeters lower than the previous generation XPeng P7. What does that mean? It means it's even lower than the Porsche Panamera and even lower than the Tesla Model S. So with this low and wide stance, the car's presence really stands out. Also, I really like the small details on the front end. First of all, the front end doesn't use the currently very popular design of a single light bar running across and then a split vertical headlight, something that's become quite common and honestly a bit overdone. Instead, the whole front of the car juts forward with a very distinct crease here, and at the same time, it features a very slim, elongated headlight. So when you put it all together, a lot of people say it looks a bit like the Nissan 400Z. I think it's more about the vibe being similar. The key point is the body lines of this car. They don't have that sharp, angular, confrontational feel. Instead, most of the lines are very smooth and soft. This is especially noticeable at the rear of the car, where the slope down from the back is somewhat reminiscent of the previous generation of the Mazda Axela hatchback's hybrid design. Very full and rounded, yet still, it's a very flowing, powerful design. Moving to the side, there are 3 types of wheels, 2 20-inch options and 1 21-inch. Ours is the 20-inch. Besides this more futuristic-looking design, there's also a low-drag wheel option. Personally, I think the 21-inch forged wheels look absolutely stunning. You can check out the footage we just shot. If that car is fitted with these huge 21-inch forged wheels combined with the overall stance of the body, I think it really maximizes the sporty feel. As for the sidelines, it first features a floating roof design, and then from here, many cars only start to slope down after the window line closes off, but I actually feel that on this car, even before the B-pillar, it already starts to slope down, leading to a very full and elegant rear end, especially when viewed directly from the back. After that, here you can see the taillights inside, echoing the design of the front and then extending out from the side. Look at this rear wheel arch. It's very full and exudes a strong sense of power. And here, the entire rear end, you can see the lines curve inward, which really resembles those classic cars from the past. It's like those cigar-shaped cars. I don't know if you've seen the Jaguar E-Type, but I think this car has a bit of that vibe or the design style of those classic cars from that era. So if we're just talking about design, the originality, the futuristic feel, and the eye-catching looks on the road, I think this car's stance is really spot on. In addition, the P7 comes with an electric rear wing that you can enjoy all year round. It supports automatic adjustment based on speed as well as manual adjustment. Out of all the cars I've reviewed, this is the only one where I feel that way. A car that looks better with the rear wing retracted than deployed. The design is already very harmonious. It's got that clean and refreshing feel. When the rear wing is up, it even feels a bit out of place. So if you want performance, raise the wing, but for daily driving and looks, set the air suspension to its lowest and keep the wing tucked away. Wow, the stance of the whole car. It really looks fantastic. The all-new B7 is positioned as a luxury, tech-forward, and sporty car. I think its exterior really captures the essence of technology and sportiness. As for the interior, let's first look at what makes it luxurious. In terms of design, it follows the currently popular clean and minimalist style with well-defined layers. Visually, you can tell the materials used are quite solid. Everywhere you touch is padded, it feels substantial and refined with soft touch materials. The roof lining has a suede-like feel, and the door panels as well. According to XPeng's official staff, the material used here is the same as what Porsche uses. In any case, they're making it clear that the materials are top-notch. It's not only intact, but also quite expensive. Another point is this decorative panel with a silver high-gloss finish. It's not plastic made to look like metal, but an actual aluminum panel, so the material quality feels pretty good. Another thing is the overall configuration. In front, there's a small instrument cluster, but the main focus is up top. It's an 87-inch display. Previously, the XPeng G7 had something similar, but this one is co-developed by XPeng and Huawei. The display quality is excellent, and the flat-bottom steering wheel design, both top and bottom, gives it a sporty look. Also, the buttons on both sides. The left side lets you directly adjust the air suspension height, activate it, and enable assistance features. The right side allows you to switch driving modes and activate one-touch functions. When you switch to sport mode, you'll notice changes on both sides. It also features active side bolsters that can tighten around your body or provide lateral support when you're cornering, which is definitely a plus. The configuration really feels quite high-tech. First, there's this 15.6-inch screen, which supports a 10-degree tilt up and down, as well as a 15-degree swivel left and right. Let me demonstrate for you. Hello, Xiaopi. It tilts this way and lifts up, and by moving the screen like this, it creates a sense that it's genuinely interacting with you, like a real human-machine interaction, rather than just talking to a machine for no reason. Of course, it's not a virtual avatar. I think there's still room for improvement. Right now, the little figure is too small. If, when it moves, the figure could be enlarged, like a big head here with eyes that make eye contact with you, the interactive experience would be even better. Anyway, I'm leaving now. Another point is that it has 3 Turing AI chips on board. In terms of computing power compared to the older NVIDIA Orin S, it's basically 9 times more powerful. Compared to the current lower-end NVIDIA Thor chip, it can achieve twice the performance. The chip is very powerful. At the same time, after years of refinement, XPeng's pure vision-based driver assistance system has also become very mature. Driver assistance is definitely a highlight of this car. So when it comes to technology, luxury, and sportiness, I think the interior experience and overall design sense are quite good. Now, the question everyone cares about is, with this design and styling, how does the rear seat space actually perform? Let's first look at the rear legroom. The front seat is set to my driving position, and with a standard sitting posture, there's still about 2 fists worth of space, so the legroom is actually quite spacious. However, if you sit upright in a standard posture, your head will already be touching the roof. After all, this car has a very sleek fastback design, and the roofline is quite low, so the headroom is rather limited. You have to slouch down a bit to create some headroom, which is the only way to sit more comfortably. This is a typical case of practicality serving the design. But to be fair, the huge panoramic glass roof above your head, stretching all the way from the front, is quite a technical challenge. It needs to block UV rays, provide heat insulation, and at the same time, it's a curved panoramic glass roof. If you're outdoors, having such a large, expansive glass roof like this, it gives you a sense that the whole view is open and transparent, so you don't get that oppressive feeling that some physical spaces can create. Also, the seat padding is quite good, pretty soft and long, making it very comfortable to sit in. Then, in the back row, there's a rear screen that can control functions like the air conditioning and seat settings, and you can even use various apps to watch shows. Personally, I think they could actually reduce some of the screen's features to lower the cost a bit. As long as you can control seat heating and the air conditioning, that's enough. After all, if you lower your head to watch shows in this position, it's still easy to get dizzy, and for a sedan, it doesn't really make much sense. It's more of a show-off feature. Saving a bit on costs and making the chassis lower might actually be more acceptable for XPeng users. Another thing is that there's no seat back pocket behind the rear seats, which is a typical design choice for aesthetics, so there's no storage space here. Everything has to go in the door panels. If they could carve out a compartment here for some storage, it would probably be more practical in real-world use. The all-new XPeng P7, built on an 800V platform architecture with a 5C ultra-fast charging battery, has a range of 702 kilometers for the base model, 820 kilometers for the ultra-long range version, and 750 kilometers for the all-wheel drive version. These specs are quite impressive. Now, when it comes to this car's main competitors, it really depends on its price point. Although the manufacturer is currently hinting at a price in the 300,000 yuan range, raising market expectations, I actually think this car will be positioned around the 250,000 yuan level. Why do I say that? Because actually, the XPeng P7 Plus is priced between 180,000 and 210,000 yuan, but compared to the P7 Plus, this car is a comprehensive upgrade in every aspect. In terms of class, size, features, materials, and performance, it surpasses the P7 Plus, so theoretically, the price should also be a bit higher. At the 250,000 yuan price range, its competitors will be Xiaomi's SU7 and the Tesla Model 3. In fact, those who have already decided on the Tesla Model 3 are set on buying a Tesla and won't change their mind, so it's very hard to capture that part of the market. More users will likely be gained from Xiaomi's SU7. For example, people who have already ordered the SU7 might find that the overall delivery cycle is quite long. If this car's price at each trim level is close to or just a bit higher than the SU7, then in reality it can attract buyers with its larger body size, original factory design, equally attractive looks, better interior materials, and higher level features. It can really hit the mark because in this market, once I buy the car after it launches, I can get it right away. But with the SU7, you have to wait a long time, and if the price doesn't fluctuate much, then it's actually acceptable. However, if each trim is 15,000 yuan more expensive or even higher, then a lot of people might start to hesitate. After all, if I have to wait a year, I could just use that 15,000 or 20,000 yuan to take taxis during that year, and I might be able to completely cover the cost. So I might as well wait since I'm not really pressed for time, right? That's why I think price is crucial. If it can really be close to the SU7, then it makes a big difference. So in reality, it feels like a dimensionality reduction attack and people are more likely to accept it. After all, everyone expects XPeng to be a very approachable brand. I can accept that they make high-end or luxury models, but this kind of high-end luxury is based on being affordable for most young people, a kind of accessible luxury. That's something everyone really recognizes. So at the same or similar price point, it's about using something bigger to compete with something smaller or offering more for less. This is something that completely aligns with everyone's expectations for XPeng, so let's look forward to the final price. As for how solid the car is, that's about it for now. If there's anything else you want to know about it, feel free to leave a comment and we'll chat more. I'm Chen Gang. See you next time.